So we'll get started now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Why Buy Calgary presentation. And this is a brand new presentation, so no one has seen this presentation before, not even Nish and Kyle. Brand new presentation. This is our first go with it, but after our we do a debrief after our presentations. After last week, we said, well, what can we do? What are the people asking? We wanted to show people how they make money in Calgary now. So we're going to the money side. So we've talked about why we're investing in Calgary and the opportunity we see there and population growth and overall economy. But now we're going specifically into the projects. So if you want to know why you should buy Calgary, you should go to our YouTube channel. We have tons of videos on talking about them on the macro level, Calgary and Alberta. But now we're going to go into the micro level and really discuss the specific projects, the specific asset types going over. We have freehold houses, we have freehold townhomes, we have condo townhomes, we have suburban condos, we have downtown condos, 5 specific projects we're going to go over today, go into the math, show appreciation projections, and everything like that. So to start off with, who are we? Well, my name's Alex Wilson. I've been selling real estate in Toronto for 15 years. Number 1 RE/MAX agent in Canada, individual transactions 2022. Number 11 RE/MAX agent worldwide in 2022, inducted in the RE/MAX Hall of Fame. Award of the RE/MAX Lifetime Achievement Award of 35, award of the RE/MAX Circle Legends Award, and I've also turned a $39,300 deposit into a $17 million real estate portfolio, and that's what we're here to discuss today, how to build your real estate portfolios. And mine includes 15 condos, a Hyde Park triplex, and an apartment building in Hamilton. And now I'm going to introduce you to Kyle, also a oh, no, that's my portfolio. Sorry, not Kyle yet. There's our portfolio. Basically, I want to show people the value of holding real estate over time. So today the portfolio is worth 17 million in 30 years when the portfolio is paid off. And you'll see that in the math when we talk about that, and we talk about principal payback. But the whole idea is when you buy real estate and you hold it, is that there's going to be a tenant in the property and they're going to be covering the expenses, but they're also going to be paying down the mortgage on the property. So I don't have $17 million a day. If I sold everything, there's mortgage in all those properties. But I know in 30 years when all those mortgages are going to be paid off, and if I look at properties appreciating at a very conservative 3% compounded annual growth rate, my portfolio in 30 years would be worth $42 million. And at that time, if I sold all that real estate, then I would have that money. So it's a long game, but if you play the long game, you can build significant wealth. And now I'm going to introduce you to the other RE/MAX Hall of Fame member. Kyle's like, I just got up. RE/MAX Hall of Fame member, just recently inducted this week, Kyle DeVigi.
Yes, hi everyone. I've been investing in real estate since 2012. Alex and I actually started investing in the exact same project. And in that time, I've been able to grow my portfolio, you'll see on the next screen, into a portfolio of 6 different properties across Canada. So I didn't start out in real estate though. Before, I used to actually manage the national lotteries, Lotto 649 and Lotto Max. These balls were actually used to make millionaires. But now I make millionaires in a different way. I help people invest in real estate to build generational wealth. And like Alex said, pension funds, things that you can rely on when you're looking to retire. So working through my career, I was able to invest in most of these properties. I was kind of your regular person. And I was able to grow that, several condos now, 1 freehold, and my portfolio will be worth over $10 million in 30 years, completely paid off if I weren't going to do another single thing.
Which you're in the process of doing right now.
Yes, I am actually.
In Calgary.
Absolutely.
We are still actively investing our Calgary ourselves. We put our money where our mouth is. And speaking of Calgary, this is Mr. Calgary, Nish.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Very excited to talk to you today about our new presentation. I got into real estate in the end of 2020 and have been working with Alex and Kyle now for just over 2 years. working with them, I really saw the true value of how real estate can help you in your future, how you're able to build generational wealth for yourself and your future generations, and simply a way of taking your own retirement into your hands and not relying on the government or current employers to fund your retirement, because that isn't something that I believe will be sustainable in the long run. Currently, I am the owner and landlord of 9 properties in total. There are 6 that my wife and I own and 3 that we have a financial interest in. 2 of our properties are in Toronto and the other 7 are in Calgary, and we'll look at that portfolio soon. And one of the reasons I want to talk about taking your financial future into your own hands is things always happen. And you have to be able to put your money into an asset or a vehicle that you know will provide good returns for you down the road. My current portfolio, as I mentioned, is a total of 9 properties. The 2 in Toronto were purchased initially back in 2006 and then again about 6 years ago. But the remaining 7 properties as of 2021, when we started investing, has been in Calgary. And this is why I'm really excited about this presentation, because we really get into to dig into the numbers and talk about why Calgary is a market where you can actually remain cash flow positive as you start to build your net worth, your equity in properties, and then utilize that towards retirement in your later years.
Okay. So we're going right into it. And breaking down the numbers. So the first project we're going to talk about is Chelsea Street Town. So these are townhomes in the Chestermere area. I'll let who's talking about this one? Okay, Kyle's going to talk about Chelsea and Chestermere. So Kyle's going to talk about Chelsea and Chestermere, and then we'll go into the math on it.
Yeah, so these are located literally just outside of Calgary in a city called Chestermere. And when I say next door, it is literally beside it. You're actually closer to downtown Calgary than most of the new projects in Calgary that are on kind of the north and south edges. So Chestermere is a very executive community, similar to like the Oakville of Calgary. Very high net worth households, you know, making over $150,000 a year, very family oriented. The average detached house, the benchmark is over $700,000. That's gone up over 9% year over year in the current real estate market, you know, with the highest interest rates we've seen in over 20 years. And it's because it's a very high demand area. People want to live there. So when you look at some of these opportunities, you know, townhomes from 525, that includes the GST, and detached, you know, from around 570,000. These are fantastic price points when you're looking to buy a pre-construction property. The deposit is only 10% spread out over 90 days, and these are closing towards the end of next year. These come with 2-year rental guarantees at $2,400 a month, but these are also nice because they're freehold properties. There is no condo fee, which is very rare for townhomes nowadays. These also have huge advantages because they come with an unfinished basement. Most townhomes don't include that, and they come with a backyard. Plus, they come with a free detached 2-car garage as well, nearly $40,000 value that the developer's offering right now for our buyers. So incredible incentive package. And, you know, it's a really good opportunity to get a 3-bed, 2.5-bath townhome or semi-detached property at an amazing price. If you were comparing this to Toronto, can't even get a 1-bedroom for these prices anymore.
And I want to tell people, I mean, I'm going to the next slide here and just show people the money now. But I can give a personal example of this and just compare it to Markham. It's in Markham. I bought a freehold townhome in Markham, smaller than these ones. My freehold townhome is 2 bedrooms, 3 washrooms. I bought that in February 2020. I bought it for $777,000. Today, that townhome is worth $1.25 million. And I'm in a similar type of community as this Chestermere executive community, as Kyle was describing, in Markham, Union Village executive community. So this is my townhome up there. Again, smaller, 2 bedrooms, 3 washrooms, about 1,200 square feet, freehold, worth 1.25 now. You can get in on these for just under 525, like $525,000 right now. Huge value on these towns. And also, by the way, as Kyle said, they have backyards. Mine's a back-to-back town in Markham. So 1.25, no backyard. I have no backyard, front driveway, like my garage, and I'm living on top of the garage basically. This is not the case with these. So going down into these, when we look at the math, so that's where our subject line is showing you cash flow and appreciation, because show me the money, as they say in that movie with Cuba Gooding Jr. and Tom Cruise, and I'm drawing a blank on the name of the movie, but show me the money. And so let's show you the money. So one assumption that we make is that we're going to assume a 4% mortgage. Okay, everyone? That is not the mortgage today. The mortgage today would be just over 6%. We're going to assume a 4% mortgage. Why are we doing that? Well, a lot of these closings are happening in the future. You know, for example, these are closing late 24, 2025. At that time, we expect mortgage rates to have come down to that 4% level. So that is an assumption that we are making on these. At the 4% level, things are cash flow positive. And we do know that rates will come down. So if we look at these townhomes, our monthly running costs on these, factoring the mortgage, insurance, property tax, again, the freehold, you're looking at around $2,400 per month. Current rent today, $2,500 a month on these. So at a 4% interest rate, you are going to be cash flow positive. On top of that, as I showed in that first slide, that I showed my slide, and he showed his slide, Kyle showed his slide, when we look at things over 30 years, our properties will be paid off. So cash flow is the excess money, that positive cash flow is the excess money that is in your bank account, the green that goes into your bank account. But there's also another component of that. That's paying down the principal portion of the mortgage, paying down the leverage and debt on the property. So every month, your mortgage balance goes down and you're not paying it, a tenant is paying that. So when we take this into consideration, you're paying down $616 per month of that rent. So of that $2,500, $96 goes in your bank account, and $616 goes into a forced savings account, which is paying down the mortgage on the property. So when we factor in cash flow and principal payback, $713 is what you are gaining per month on these properties. Kyle, how's that sound? Sound pretty good?
Absolutely.
Okay.
One additional point about Chestermere. One of the reasons why that area is growing and the value is increasing, and I'm hearing this from people that actually live in Chestermere, is because Chestermere is one of the very few communities in the greater Calgary area that has access to a lake that you could actually use for entertainment purposes, Lake Chestermere. It's only 4 or 5 minutes from that lake, and people use it all the time. So again, value, the reasons why properties are increasing, it has to be a tangible reason, and Lake Chestermere is just one of those reasons.
Yeah, and we're very bullish on the Chestermere area, because right beside Chestermere, and I'm not going to go deep into it, but there is a massive aircraft manufacturing facility being built that's relocating from Toronto to just east of Calgary. Chestermere is the closest city to this location. It's only a 10-minute drive away from this 1,500 square foot facility, which is going to relocate 1,500 jobs to the Calgary area from Toronto. And Chestermere is literally the place that's right beside it. And then right beside Chestermere, you have Calgary. So we're very bullish on that area for growth. So now let's look at what's going to happen over the next 5 years. So again, we're assuming a 5% mortgage fixed. Okay. Why I'm doing that? I want to make it easy. So let's assume that our cost for the mortgage is 4%, which is we signed a 4% fixed mortgage. I'm anticipating 2% in growth and expenses. That's looking at my property tax and my insurance on the property. So what's our value in 5 years? So if we're going at a 5% annual growth rate, in 2024, 551,000, and then in 5 years, in 2028, these towns would be worth 670,000, and that works out to appreciation, not factoring that principal payback, just appreciation. Want to keep this nice and easy, of $145,000. As I said with my own example, I said in Markham, I bought one for 779. Sorry, 777,900. So 778, worth 1.25 right now. I can tell you, I've also personally done this in Calgary. I bought a house in Calgary for $525,000 in 2020, sold it in 2021 for $720,000. I even had offers up to 730,000. I just took the lower offer because it was firm. The other one had a condition. So I know this growth can happen because I've seen it happen. Nish has seen it happen with his townhome in Northeast Calgary, and we'll talk about that more after the fact. So these numbers are real. And remember, we're seeing positive growth in prices in Calgary, even with these high interest rates. One of the only areas in Canada, jurisdiction Canada, prices are continuing to go up, and we're dealing with 6% interest rates. So just imagine when interest rates start going down. That's when you're going to see appreciation really accelerate. But are we greedy? No, we just do 5% compounded annual growth rates. Now, let's look at our cash flow. How does that improve over the years? So we factored in growth and expenses, but again, we signed a 5-year 4% fixed rate. So we're just keeping that cost even. The monthly rent is going to go up 5% per year, which rents have gone up significantly more than that year over year. They've gone up 30%, but let's just do 5% compounded growth year over year. So look at our cash flow dramatically improve year over year. And guess what? In Calgary, there's no rent control. You have fixed term leases in Calgary and Alberta. It is very easy to do these things. And again, Nish has done it himself. And when we get into talking about specifically the Northeast Calgary, I'll let Nish talk about his experiences with his condo townhouse there and how he was able to negotiate a higher rent, much higher 1 year rate after, and the appreciations experience on that property. So by the end of 2028, we'd be looking at positive cash flow, the green in your bank account of $745 per month, plus monthly principal payback. And talking about easy, this number shouldn't be fixed. It should actually be going up because every month you're going to be paying back a little bit more cash flow. But again, I wanted to keep it really, really easy and really, really simple. So this number would actually be higher, but I kept it easy, nice and easy. So monthly principal payback. So cash flow principal payback in 5 years, you're looking at over $1,350 per month, $745 green in your pocket, plus the principal payback. Now, this is Kyle and Nish's first time seeing this slide. Do you guys have any comments?
I have two, actually.
Okay.
Not related to the cash flow, though, but further evident of why we think these are good investments. Number one, we've all invested like 5 minutes away from this location in Calgary today. And the other is these units, they're selling pretty much at the exact resale value in the market today. There is no premium in this case, even though you're getting a brand new property over a year away. That's unheard of. And that's why this project has been incredibly popular. I've sold 3 of these units just last week alone.
Yeah. These are really no-brainers. And the thing is, and this is where you're going to see different product types, right? Because people go to us, Alex, what's the best product type to buy? Kyle, what's the best product type to buy? Nish, what's the best product type to buy? They're all different. So here's the one thing on these. These close soon, okay? You're going to be, realistically, they're probably going to close in 2024. Maybe they're going to close in 2025. They're easier to build. You sell one, you build one. But when you sell a condo, you still got to build the whole building, right? So the sales process in condos is much longer, and that's why you have longer closing dates with the condos. So condos are a lower price point. So people like the longer closings in some instances. They like they're just concrete box in the sky. They're really easy to manage. So there's different asset classes that people prefer. So let me go to the next property. Now we're going to talk about Rangeview duplexes. These are our favorite of mine personally. So these are now I'm getting caught up in my tongue because in Ontario we call these things different than everyone else in Canada. So duplexes for everyone else in Canada, other than people in Ontario, are semis. And what that means is you have one house, and on the other side, you have another house attached to that. So that's what these duplexes are. But why they're my favorite is that you can put an income suite in the basement. So you can really supercharge your rental amounts on these, and which then supercharge your cash flow. And Nisha, I believe you're talking about these, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm really excited to talk about the Rangeview property simply because, as Kyle alluded to earlier, we're in a very unique scenario in Calgary where pre-construction properties in many cases are equivalent or even less than some of the resale properties. And I did an analysis for a client recently on the duplexes, both the semi-detached and also the single-family homes, which we don't really have a ton of. But the resale market for properties that are built in the last 3 to 4 years are selling, as I mentioned, either for the same or more than what these prices are. And Rangeview, it's a community in the southeast of Calgary, Seton. And Rangeview is one of the few areas still left in the southeast where you can actually develop properties. There is a ton of green space, a lot of conservation land, and you have access to golf courses, easy commute to all the necessities that you would want for a family-friendly neighborhood. Typically, these types of homes are attractive for families to rent and live in. And ultimately, these areas, as time progresses, you're going to see a much faster and higher appreciation than other areas, simply because there's really nowhere else to build, and you have a ton of green space in those enjoyable areas to raise a family in. The options that we have right now in Rangeview, we have the semis or the duplexes. They're in the mid 600s, so 667. And if you wish, you can add an income suite by the developer. So it's a legal income suite with a separate entrance for 75K, which you can factor into your mortgage as part of your purchase. The deposit structure is very easy to manage. You're looking at 15% spread over 1 year. These will be closing early next year and on to 2025. And also talking a bit more about the rental market, further to the analysis that I did for my client earlier this week, the basement itself will secure you anywhere from $1,300 to $1,500 a month. And then the main unit, which is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom, will get you anywhere between $2,500 and $2,700 a month. So you're looking at, in today's market, you're going to be getting almost $4,000, if not more, per month. And that allows you to remain strong. Alex, I have no idea what numbers you put in on the math.
I was checking my number, 3,800. I put 3,800. I was checking my number.
Not too far, not too far. And again, we love to do things very conservatively because we much rather under-promise and over-deliver than the other way around, because the conversations, I promise you, are much easier to have when they go that route.
Yeah, and again, I can say I bought in this area. So this is where I bought the home I was discussing that I bought for 525. Then I sold it for again 720,000 in 2021. And
Alex, one other thing. One other quick thing, because people ask me all the time that bought into these freeholds, they all come with appliances. You know, come with appliances, energy efficient appliances. They come with light fixtures. They're turnkey. And if you opt to go with the basement suite as well, they'll come with all the appliances and equipment needed to begin renting that right out of the gate.
These are all turnkey properties, investment properties. And then going into here, let's show you the math again. So you'd be looking at just under 750,000 for these once you add the revenue suite, which I would say do, because that's going to juice your rental numbers, and that's where you see the current rent on these being $3,800 per month on a conservative level, and at that 4% mortgage rate, you're looking at positive cash flow today of $250. Monthly principal payback, I'm at over $1,130 per month on these. So let's look what happens over the next 5 years. So 2024, we're getting over 780 for these properties. In the next 5 years, I'm looking at appreciation of over 200,000 on these homes. That's again at the 5% annual growth rate and values. And we're going to look at the rents next, 4% fixed interest rate. And how do my rents look? Well, by 2028, I'd be looking at getting close to $4,850 per month, generating positive cash flow over $1,200 per month. my monthly principal payback, over $2,100 a month of money going to me as my tenants are paying down my property, and I'm getting green. Now, I got to say one thing about freehold properties: they're more work. So again, when people go to me, Alex, this looks like the best, I want to buy these, go for it, but they will be more work, right? Because when I'm dealing with a freehold property, I'm dealing with the structure, I'm dealing with what's in the walls, I'm dealing with what's in the property, I'm dealing with the land that property's on. So there's other additional things that you have to deal with these properties. So they are a little more active. And I must say, I did not factor in maintenance on these properties. So that's snow clearing, that stuff, but the tenant will do those. But you will have a little more wear and tear on these when you do have some families moving in and out and everything. Has not been factored into my numbers. Want to keep it easy. But when people talk to us, these are going to be more work than a condo, 100%. I own multiple homes. I own multiplexes. Way more work. But again, there's a reward. You get financially compensated for that on a cash flow level and an appreciation level. But just want to, again, when you're doing your analysis of what kind of person you are, you just have to factor that in. Okay, what do we have next? Cornerview Towns, and that's Mr. Niche, because that was your first investment. Yeah, it was a townhome in the Cornerstone. So I'll let you talk about Cornerstone.
Yeah, so Cornerstone is located in Northeast Calgary, and Cornerstone is actually the fastest growing community in Calgary, but it's also the largest growing community. There's approximately 1,500 homes already there, and it's continuing to grow. This community was planned extremely well, looking at the future. Now, unfortunately, not all communities across Canada are planned that way. So in terms of the arteries going in and out of the area, they plan for it. So you're not going to have the congestion, which, generally you will see as communities start to expand and blow up. This is planned extremely well. In terms of opportunities for work, there's well over 3,000 new jobs that are available and can be filled sooner than later. And we're seeing the highest level of immigration and migration also happening in the Northeast. Additional things to be mindful of: you're only 10 minutes away from the airport, so that makes it very attractive for businesses. And this way, they're going to have those offices in and around the airport. So if you work for some of these companies, you want to try to live close to your work to minimize the commute. There's green space. There's 5 new schools that are planned here to accommodate the growing population. You are under 20 minutes from downtown. And that's a real 20 minutes as well. You don't have to leave, at crazy times during the day to get downtown in under 20 minutes. You can get to the university in under 25 minutes. So in terms of the transportation system, fantastic. In addition to that, you're also seeing 2 new LRT stations that will be available and will expand into this community. So for those that don't drive but commute, you have the solution there. Now, going back to the Cornerview Townhomes project specifically, as Alex mentioned, my very first investment was a townhome in a much earlier phase of Cornerview. It was called Yorktowns. Now, I bought that property for under $400,000. And you know what, I'll be okay. I'll release the math here. So 370 is what I bought the property for, pretty much the exact same floor plan as what we're seeing now. And I have seen an appreciation since I purchased that property of well over $150,000 based on what they are selling for today in pre-construction. On the resale market, the current townhomes are selling probably in and around that range as well. Again, going back to Kyle's point earlier, the market in the terms of resale comparable properties aren't too off from our pre-construction properties. Cornerview will be ready in 2 to 2.5 years. So you are allowing the market to do its thing and allow your property to appreciate over that time. And you're securing a phenomenal rate of $535,000 today to secure a spot. There's only 10 units remaining. So keep that in mind. This is a scenario where these properties are going to go quickly. They come with 4 bedrooms. You get 2.5 bathrooms, well over 1,500 square feet. It's 3 levels. You have a 2-car parking garage as well, a heated parking garage.
And side-by-side parking, not tandem, side-by-side.
Correct.
Yep.
Yeah, so there's no fights in the morning between between the couple as to who gets to go off first or who needs to move whose car. So yes, you will minimize friction within the household, and I've dealt with that in the past. So just throwing it out there. And there's multiple bathrooms, which is also another point of contention. There are some other options available that are earlier in closing, which we're not going to touch on, but if you are looking to close a little earlier, we have options as well. Very similar in terms of the layout and structure. It's called Novella. And the Cornerview townhomes, they come with a rental guarantee. So this is where the developer will rent the unit back from you for 2 years and provide you anywhere from $2,400 to $2,500 a month as guaranteed rent, uninterrupted for 2 years. They will also manage the property on your behalf for 2 years. Always treat this as a insurance policy, because today my townhouse, which is a year old now, is securing more rent than what is being offered through this rental guarantee. And I'm almost positive as we get into 2026 and 2027, those rental numbers are going to go up. Now, we've seen an increase of over 30% in the rental market. And speaking from personal experience, when it was time for me to renew my rent with my existing tenants, in total, my net difference was almost $700 from August of 2021 or August of 2023 to September of 2023 when I renewed my contract with my tenant. So that is a significant difference, which allows me to remain cash flow positive even during these high interest rates. One of the very few markets in Canada where you can actually do that today.
Yeah, oh, exactly. And that's where, if I'm looking at the Cornerview towns today, I'm coming in with my mortgage, maintenance fee, property tax, monthly cost, current rent of $2,600 per month. I'm basically neutral, just works out to like a negative cash flow of $3 per month. But rents are going up in this area, and we've seen dramatic increases in rents. And when I apply my, but yeah, and this is a good example. So before I jump to the next slide, I'm showing a -3 rate here in cash flow, but again, that's my green, my account. So you got to skip Tim Hortons once in a month to make that up. But I still have principal payback of $629 per month. So I'm still very much doing very well per month, paying down my portfolio. Now, what's going to happen over the next 5 years? Well, my appreciation at a 5% rate, I'm going to see nearly $150,000 of appreciation. But on top of that, my rents go up. So when I look at my monthly rent in 5 years, I'd be looking at, and this yellow is when is that 2027. So let's say I get my townhome in 2027, whether it's 2026 or 2027. I just highlighted 2027. Now I'm cash flow, because you're not getting this one today. So that's where we start seeing the gap, right? So the freehold stuff that finishes quickly. So you got to look at your current cash flow numbers in the current market. But these finish later. There is a condo component to these, so they take longer to build and longer to sell. You're looking at, okay, I may not be cash flow today, but I'm getting this in 2026, 2027, where we know definitely then we're going to have lower interest rates. So again, that's where that 4% comes into play. As well, rental values will continue to go up. So now I'm looking at rental values of anywhere between $3,000 to over $3,150 per month. Now I'm getting back into the green into my bank account, cash flow nearly $400 to $500 per month. Beautiful monthly principal payback. I'm doing over $1,000 per month of cash flow plus my 4 savings, which building that pension fund mentality for you. Now, if we want to get things further out, and this is where we get into a lower price point, if you're like Alex, you're showing me stuff that's in the 5s and 6s and 700,000, not comfortable in that price range, and it's outside of my comfort level. Well, what can I invest in if I have a budget in 3s and 4s? Well, that's where we get into the condos. And we'll talk, this also is in the Northeast area, later closings, lower costs, and Kyle's going to talk more about Myne condos.
Yeah, and Myne Condos is located in Northeast in the Cornerstone community, the exact same as Cornerview. So it has all the same benefits as those townhomes. It's just a block south from there. Benefits of the immediate area around it. Directly across the street to the south, a future recreation center. Immediately across the street to the west, a future school. Directly to the east, wetlands and green area. You are surrounded by recreational activities pretty much 360 degrees around this project. So when people look for a good lifestyle, somewhere fun and good to live, this is definitely a great opportunity for people to be living. And I think it's going to be very attractive from a rental perspective for that reason as well. Like Anish said, 20 minutes to downtown, any time of day, not stuck in traffic, easy access to the airport, easy access to shopping in the Northeast as well. So fantastic area. And this is probably the most affordable project that we have right now. When we say from 319, you can buy that unit today. It is still available. It's a 1-bedroom, 560 square feet with parking and locker, including your taxes. That is an unreal price point anywhere in Canada. But there's also 2-bedroom, 2-bath units starting from about 390 square feet. And those come with a 2-year rental guarantee. Now, the guarantee is for $1,775 a month. Similar units in the area today are going for more like $2,000, $2,150. So a lot of people use those for their numbers. It's not the actual rental numbers. Now, Alex, I don't know what you use for yours.
What did I use? I use 2100.
Okay, perfect. Is incredibly strong in that area because it is a good area. It's brand new, master plan community. That's what people are looking for, safe areas.
And I want to add to this area is that this is an area where you have a lot of new Canadians move in. And that's where your rental demand is going to continue to go, because when someone comes and relocates to Canada, they're going to rent for 1 to 2 years. And guess what they do after 1 to 2 years? They buy. They're actively saving. They're going to buy. And where they're going to buy? They're going to buy where they've established themselves. And that's where you get built-in. You get your built-in tenants and cash flow, and then you get your built-in appreciation because your tenants are going to be the buyers of your investment properties.
Exactly. Now, these are closing in 2027 to 28. That's the latest closing of any project in Calgary and nearly any project in Canada. Imperia is the only other similar project, a big project downtown that Truman is also building that has a similar closing. Otherwise, everything else in Calgary is pretty much earlier, 2025 typically or earlier. So this is that advantage when you're investing in condos. You're only putting your 10% down, which is spread out over a year. You have 4 payments, and then you're just sitting and waiting 3-4 years for it to actually be completed and developed. But during that time, you're getting appreciation on the entire purchase price, not just on the amount of money that you have down. So you can significantly turbocharge the returns that you're getting by going the condo route. These also include free parking and a free locker with every single unit, which is amazing. It's probably a $40,000 value that's included in the price already. So no surprises, no hidden fees. Like Anish said, appliances, washer and dryer, even window coverings are included. These are turnkey properties. You don't have to do anything. You're not getting nickel and dimed by the developers for upgrades and changes. You don't have to touch a thing.
And one thing I'm gonna have Kyle add, what major employer is doing massive development 10-minute drive from here?
I don't know if anyone's heard of them. Amazon, one of the biggest companies in the entire world. Not just a distribution center that already exists there, not a bulky warehouse shipping center, is the first in Canada that they're building there, but Amazon Web Services. This is IT based. This is only the second one in Canada that's being built. The other one is in Montreal. So this is going to be a multi-billion-dollar project in Northeast Calgary, just slightly north of this area, and going to be home to hundreds of new jobs.
And this is where when we go into our other presentation, which talks about why buy Calgary, and we talk about why we're confident that we're going to continue to see diversification away from oil and gas and get into the tech sector and international companies moving there. Number one, we have the international airport. So you need that direct flight. There's only 4 in Canada, Toronto, Montreal, Vancouver, and Calgary. But also number 2, it's the low cost jurisdiction for lowest taxes in Canada, as well as second lowest cost of living. And companies like Amazon, massive companies, they look at that. They look at their bottom line, like, where can I get the best tax advantages? They have entire teams that do these analysis. And that's why this is opening in Alberta and not opening in Vancouver for the West, because it's more affordable for these corporations. And as we get into a fiscal period, where companies are looking on their bottom lines and where can they save costs. Well, taxes is an area, office space is an area, and that's where Calgary is both. So I don't want to go down the rabbit hole and all that. We have massive presentations on that, but this is the area where you have a lot of development happening by Amazon. So let's look again at the math. So 389,900, that'll get you your entry level investment 2-bedroom condo in here. My running cost on that'll be $2,050 per month when I factor in maintenance fee and property tax and mortgage. The current rent on those $2,100. So we're getting positive cash flow today at that 4% interest rate, again, assumption. But again, these aren't closing until 2027. So that's a very strong assumption, very positive assumption. Could be lower than 4% at that time, but let's just do that 4% number, keeping it simple. And then what happens over the 5 years? Well, we get appreciation. So over that 5-year period, looking at $100,000 worth of appreciation on the current purchase price. And then let's look at that cash flow. Well, by 2027, when we get it, that cash flow is went from $50 per month to $456 per month, looking at monthly rent of $25.52 per month on the monthly rent. That's a very reasonable number. That's guys, that's the 1-bedroom rent number for Toronto, by the way. So having a 2-bedroom with parking rent for $2,500 is still considered affordable when I compare it to other markets. So these numbers are not out to lunch by any means, and there's still affordability in Calgary with these increases. And that's just a 5% annual growth rate in monthly rents. What I'm looking at based off of current rents of $2,100 per month. So again, we're looking at an area where we're seeing positive cash flow. And for our investors that want to get in that $300,000 bracket for investing, this is where you're going to go. You're getting a 2-bedroom with parking for under $400,000. You can't get anything for under $400,000 in the GTA. And I haven't even added all the taxes on top of that, which I'm not even addressing today. So the taxes are also a massive component. Because again, I want to just keep it simple. Just look at appreciation and cash flow, not getting into the extra taxes and everything, Ontario versus Alberta. So again, another project with positive cash flow. And now we get into Imperia, the crown jewel of someone's portfolio if they're investing in Calgary, a downtown project. Nish, I believe you're talking about Imperia, right?
I am, yes, absolutely. I'm another one that I'm truly excited about because downtown is another area that my wife and I invested in terms of our condo portfolio. So if you talk about location, this is the prime location in the downtown area of Calgary. It's located in their Beltline, which is essentially right in between the financial district, the restaurant row, the design district, the entertainment district. Like, you are smack dab in the middle of where you want to be with Imperia. As perspective, you're less than 10 minutes, a 10-minute walk from the Saddle Dome and the Calgary Tower, right? So that's how close you are to everything. You're across the street from Memorial Park. You're within minutes of some of these big multinational corporations that have set up their corporate offices, IBM being one of them. Less than 10 minutes from the TELUS headquarters, or about 15 minutes from the TELUS headquarters. But again, this is walking distance. You can walk to LRT station. So in terms of access and transportation, you're not going to find a better spot. Now, talking about Imperia itself, I believe this will be one of the focal points of Calgary skyline, the downtown skyline. It is a beautiful building. It has a exoskeletal frame. And if you don't know what that is, please Google it or take a look at some of our content. It is beautiful. Like, it is breathtaking. It has a phenomenal amenities section, which is right in the middle of the building. And it's spectacular. I haven't seen anything like that in other major cities in Canada, including the one that I live in. Imperia is scheduled to close in 2028. And we have options for 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom starting as low as $450,000. And we just sold out of the 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom options, but we still have multiple 2-bed and 2-bath options also still remaining. This is a very unique project in the sense that the rental guarantee is a percentage of the purchase price. With condos like this, especially high-rise condos, and this is a 27-story condo, which is going to be one of the largest residential towers in downtown Calgary. Every time you go up a floor or a comparable unit, the price does go up. Now, the developer has factored that into the rental guarantee, and you will get 12% of your purchase price as your 24-month rental guarantee. We can talk about that math offline if you need to, or maybe Alex has that in the breakdown, but it's a very, very strong rental guarantee program. They also offer 2 years of free property management, so you don't need to worry about a thing, turnkey. You don't pay condo fees for 2 years, so it allows you to remain strong cash flowing during those 2-year promotional periods. There are options for free parking, free locker, and there are tons of upgrades that are also thrown in. And if you want to talk about a place that you want to take someone to wow, this is it. The options for down payments start from 5% down, it goes to 20%. Your incentives change based on what you put down, but they also introduced a very, very exciting option for 10% down, where you actually can make your payments on a monthly basis to minimize the amount of capital you need to put down right out of the gate. With Imperia, also, you have options to do short-term rentals. So there are Airbnb options. Like, you're in the heart of downtown. You want to be able to maximize every dollar that you can. And Alberta does not have the same restrictions that other provinces do. You don't have restrictions on short-term rentals. So another value proposition for our investors, and the strong return allows you to see good cash flow every single month.
Let's talk about cash flow, and let's see what we're gonna be looking at. So because it's a downtown property, and I'm using the two bedroom example here, it is more expensive. Downtown is always more expensive. So off the bat, I'm looking at current rents and what I'm going to look at cash flow for it. So current rent on this on our investment level 2-bedroom unit, looking at about $2,500 per month at a 4% rate. I am going to be negative. But again, if I look at my monthly principal payback of $720, I'm still actually in the black when I'm factoring that in. But that's at 2 days rents. This building isn't finishing till 2028. So let's see what happens over 5 years. So I look at the value over 5 years. My appreciation is going to go up by $170,000 over 5 years. And with my increased rents. Now, I did not use the rental guarantee numbers. I just wanted to keep it consistent with what we're using for our 5% annual growth based on current market rents. So by 2028, we'll be looking at nearly $3,200 a month for a downtown 2-bedroom unit. We'll be in a positive cash flow situation with my monthly principal payback. I'll be in the black by $790 per month. And I have that crown jewel of property downtown in Calgary. And in regards to the tenant profile, this is where the high-paying jobs are downtown. So when we look at tenant profiles, this is where you're getting the high-tech worker individual, that young professional. They're living downtown. For example, the IBM Tech Hub, that's right around the corner from here. All these new tech office spaces that are opening up, those are opening up downtown. That's the tenant profile that you're getting into these properties. So yes, downtown property, it is more expensive, but people love the downtown. They love the upside of the downtown, and that's where you're getting the higher caliber tenants on these. And then when we look at the rental guarantee numbers, they also reflect this monthly rental number that we're projecting, in some cases even higher. So out of all the properties we present, out of all 5 properties, we're looking at positive cash flow in all these situations. Again, I'm putting an asterisk beside that, factoring in a 4% interest rate, but that's where we expect interest rates to go, looking at a reduction of the prime rate, the bank rate, the overnight rate of 2%, which would then result in a 2% reduction in current rates around the 6% level to that 4% level. And again, if we're looking at all the way out to 2028, that's really giving you an area where you should expect significantly lower interest rates at that time. So what we're gonna, do you guys want to add anything on this slide talking about Imperia in regards to when I got into the math?
Yeah, I'm going to push back just a little bit.
I know, I
maybe
saw
push
Nisha's
back.
face. Nish didn't like my math.
So just to be clear, the original numbers that Alex showed was as of today. Now, you're not going to be collecting rent today,
No.
and you're not going to take a mortgage out today. This is all
Right.
based on when you're closing, and based on, you know, I guess the entry level 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom rate.
Correct. This is entry
Right
level.
now-
This is
Yeah.
the cheapest unit there.
Yeah, so the rent there that's guaranteed from the developer, which we know will be lower than the market rate, is 3150. So it does help with the math, because if you want to go with that, there's no cost to go with the rental guarantee. It's part of the program. And the only reason you would want to opt out is if you see that the rental numbers are much higher, which we believe it should be. But just based on what the developer's offering as a package to you at no cost on top of your purchase price, the rental numbers on the entry level 2-bedroom, 2-bath is 3150.
Oh, and also add, I didn't factor in the no maintenance fees either. That's not factored into my numbers. So the fact that you get 2 years free maintenance fees, that's not factored into my numbers as well. Keeping it as simple as possible so we can compare against all. So there are incentives that do improve these numbers that aren't included in these numbers right here. Just making it that I can make it as easy as possible for people to factor in. So Nisha, I saw your face, so I wanted to give you an opportunity to speak. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to open up the floor for 5 minutes to ask questions. Obviously, on top of that, you can book calls with Nish and Kyle to discuss the projects in depth, look at floor plans, figure out what makes the most sense for you. We love talking to you and answering your questions. So there is opportunities to book calls or email us, text us, call us. We're always available to chat. So I'm going to stop sharing the screen now. Oh, wait, let's see. There we are. Hi, Alex, Nish, and Kyle. All with our different email addresses. That Tatiana hates. Tatiana's our marketing manager, and she's like, why do you guys all have different emails? That's because we're all our own people. But we all work under the Wealth Builder umbrella. So I'm just going to stop the share now, and we'll open up the floor to questions. You can ask them in the Q&A box below. Okay, someone asking, would it be better to have an interest-only mortgage, lower monthly fees? Also, I'm just going to borrow more as the equity goes up. Okay, so interest-only mortgages are they're not really a prevalent product in Canada. You would get them through you can start doing those things when you get into wealth management, everything like that, and there's mortgages collateralized over a bunch of properties. So I will take that and say, speak with your mortgage professional about that. But if you're looking at interest only, usually it's a wealth-based product that you're dealing with. Okay. If you take out a home equity line of credit payment on a pre-con, can you write off the interest while you're waiting for the development to be built? Yes, you can. Yes, you are able to write off that interest. Is the session being recorded? Yes, it is. Ooh, easy question today. No hard ones. It's good. Any more questions from anyone? But yes, the recording, this has been recorded, and you'll all get a copy of this emailed to you. Nish, Kyle, anything else you want to add?
We want to hear from you.
Yeah. We will talk to you. We'll answer your questions. We enjoy questions, and questions make us better as well. So you will get the summary email with this. You can book calls with us. You can rewatch this video, and you'll get information about all the projects we discussed and more. So as you saw, we just went an hour and we just covered 5 projects. We do have more. We do have single family full out detached homes. There are some other condo projects. We just wanted to Novella is another one that just came out, which those will be ready in Q4. We have lots of different options, but we wanted to keep it as simple as possible, so not to overwhelm anyone on this. But what you want, we got it. So we're happy to talk with you. Thank you so much for your time. We're just hitting the 1 o'clock mark. So thanks for spending your lunch with us, and we'll all chat soon. Okay, bye everyone.
Thanks everyone. Have a good day.